Hey everybody, Monday Night Podcast here, and this is episode 2. And this time we have Digibrony and Soundspeed with us this time, followed up by Subtly Awkward and Cobaltsky7. Say hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Hello once again.
Hey. Yes. Okay. Okay, now straight on to the first topic is, do you think Hasbro should back up a little bit with their copyright stuff when other people making YouTube videos about MLP? Because I know that some of you have had problems with them in the past.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of biased to say yes because they've pretty much been cracking down on my channel. And, like, you know, having 52 copyright claims doesn't do you a whole lot of good.
Holy shit.
So, yeah, it's not a lot of fun.
No, it does not.
I only had like 3 or 4. I didn't get hit that hard.
No, it was pretty bad. So, I mean, obviously I think Hasbro should back off. I understand they need to protect their IPs and, you know...
Well, the thing is, I don't think it's about protecting the IPs, because, I don't know if any of you have seen, I did a video on Season 3 of MLP and talked about why I think they're removing stuff. And, are you guys familiar with the term syndication?
Syndication. I think we might need a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, just a question
Well,
mark.
syndication is when a show, when another network is going to broadcast a show. Like, if Cartoon Network wanted to broadcast the episodes that currently exist of My Little Pony, they would buy syndication rights to broadcasting it. And for kids shows, the standard amount of episodes that have to be out before a channel will buy a show for syndication is 65. So MLP got up to 65 episodes with Season 3, and that's why I think that it's only 13 episodes long. It's because they were trying to prepare it for the syndication length so that they can now sell it as like a package to other networks, and then those networks can broadcast the 65 episodes that currently exist. So if you think about it, if they were going to try and sell this show to another network to play, like if Cartoon Network wants to buy the show from them, they're going to say, we're buying reruns of a show that is entirely available for free on YouTube. No one's going to want to watch reruns on Cartoon Network when they can watch it on YouTube, you know? So I think that's
a good
probably
point.
Yeah, that's probably why they started removing all the content. But the problem is that what they did was they put it in an automated system where anytime it detects more than a certain amount of an episode in a video, it just automatically removes it. So they're not actually going through and like individually finding this stuff. They just put in a computer system that looks through all of YouTube, finds everything that has those clips in it, and then removes it. So that's why stuff like Friendship is Witchcraft gets taken down, because it has a ton of scenes from the episodes in it, you know? And that's why, you know, my videos are getting taken down. I'm assuming your videos met the same fate, Soundspeed, where you had a lot of footage and it just got eaten by the system. So, you know, hopefully that system will lighten up, or Hasbro will realize what they've done and maybe like lighten up on it, or YouTube will start recognizing that what they're taking down is not the actual show, you know. But unfortunately, because it's automated and because YouTube really doesn't care about getting rid of our content, they just don't want to have legal issues. So they plug in this machine, they go, all right, we don't care what it gets rid of, you know, because it's hard for us to mount a legal defense that our videos are fair use, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that they're using, the YouTube Content ID, I mean, it's been around for a really long time. Like, if you ever like are on a video that has copyrighted music, for example, and it says like,
Oh yeah, that.
"Buy now" under it,
Yeah.
like that's Content ID hard at work with music. And so, of course, Hasbro got, you know, rights to use that on My Little Pony. But I think the problem with their legal sort of, I almost want to call it malpractice, but it really isn't. It's just that it's cracking down, and then when you go into the dispute process, it's like, hey, this is fair use. They just kind of twiddle their thumbs and they're like, well,
YouTube totally doesn't care. They're like, oh, do you have proof? Oh, then we're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna bother. Cause
The only thing they care about are the people that are actually famous and they don't want to lose.
Yeah, and you know, on my videos, usually they don't remove my videos anymore ever since I started using an OC character, which is why I did that, so that they wouldn't keep pulling my videos down. I figured if the image was really small, they wouldn't care. And they stopped pulling my videos down, but for a while they wouldn't let, because I try to monetize my videos. I have ads on them. And for a while they wouldn't let me put ads on a lot of videos because it would detect that there was some they wouldn't detect it as third-party content, but they'd ask me, "Hey, do you actually have permission to use this?" And I would say, well, it's my content and it's fair use, and they would say no, we don't agree, so they wouldn't let me put ads on it. But now that I've gotten like really big, my videos now suddenly are getting approved all the time. Like they just get monetized.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't really changed anything from when it was telling me not to. So I do think it's possible that there's some favoritism because I have a lot of subscribers, and now they're like, oh well, this guy might actually make us some money, so let's let him do that.
Take all the things.
Yep. Because I mean, there's that risk with smaller channels where it's like they're not really guaranteed to get the payoff, like the ad revenue out of them. But like, if you're higher up, if you got like the 17,000 subs, by the way, congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Oh, did I hit 17K today? I know.
I kind of thought
He didn't check.
Yes, I did. I did just hit it must have been within the last hour because I was watching ANY Pony's podcast just now. But yeah, I just hit 17K. Thanks.
You're gonna have to do some sort of special episode now.
The big 17K that nobody hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should totally sing a song.
There you go.
I've done quite a bit of singing already.
I'll write
Really?
you one if you want.
Oh yeah, he had a beautiful song in one of his Q&A videos about his 3-foot-long dick.
Yeah, that's a song by Ego Raptor.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go.
you did
watch
that
it
a
now.
lot of justice, by the way. It was beautiful.
Thank you. It wasn't my best performance of the song, but I was happy with it.
Oh, that is amazing. Okay, is that everything with that?
Think so.
Yeah, did anybody else
Yeah.
want to add?
Does anyone else?
Cobalt Sky, you've been awful silent.
I'm just sitting here taking it all in. I'm on the same page as Soundspeed. I have just about the same number of copyright claims and been trying to fight them and failing hard.
I've been getting
Yeah.
pissy because I like watching your videos, and I'm like, no, don't block it in the United States.
Yeah. Like
The funny part of it all is a lot of the people think I'm the one blocking it for the United States and not letting them see it.
Why would they?
let
yeah,
the
why-
mobile viewers see it? I have
I
a
know.
personal vendetta against mobile
We're in the
viewers.
United
I
States,
absolutely
right?
hate them.
I'm from the UK. I'm the odd one out.
Well, you're in the States, right?
Yeah.
So why would you block it for your own country? Why would they think that?
I don't know. I feel like being a dick.
Ridiculous.
To troll everyone.
We only wanted viewers from Nova Scotia.
But yeah, I've been
Lithuanian bad impressions count.
I've been running a lot of tests with the system. Like, as I upload my videos, I've tried all kinds of different stuff to see what would work, like what stuff would get approved and what stuff wouldn't. So, like, a lot of my videos from last month, I'd put, like, all these visual filters and stuff on the imagery and just trying to test and find out what would work. So, eventually I'm going to report all my findings, and I'll try and help people get through this and figure out how to get around it and what is doable and what's not, and how much getting subs affects it. Because I am starting to suspect that because I have a lot of subs, they're letting me get away with more. You know.
Yeah.
As soon as you put that up, I bet they're gonna just block it.
Like, no, don't tell them how to get around our money-making business.
So I'm also guessing that if you used any of the theme songs from MLP, that I say any of the theme songs, there's only one, but
Yeah.
if you use the theme song, you instantly just get that video blocked.
Yeah, using songs is definitely a faster. But at the same time, almost every song from the show is still findable, and a lot of episodes are becoming findable too. So I'm wondering if they might have already now loosened up, but because the stuff that's been taken down is now screwed. It's probably not going to be able to come back. But like Friendship is Witchcraft episode, what is it, 8 that just came out has not been taken down yet. They were scared it would be taken down within like a couple of weeks, but it's been almost 3 weeks now, I think, and it's still up. And my videos are having less problems. I managed to find someone who had uploaded the entire show on YouTube, so I finally was able to download all the rest of the episodes I didn't have. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it might be getting better, or I could just be wrong and I haven't done enough research. But I'd like to. I hope it's getting better.
Yeah. Well, on my end, for me in particular, I went back and I pretty much just copy-paste disputed all, 52 claims. And what happened for me is that they never actually got overturned or reinstated. Hasbro just kind of waited out the 1 month time limit and then nothing happened and they went back up, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy about that. But I noticed with the Friendship is Witchcraft episode, within the first 10 minutes of it coming out, I actually clicked on it and it was blocked in the US. So they have disputed it. So what I'm thinking is happening with the Witchcraft episode is that it's actually...
the one was disputed?
Yeah, it was disputed because it was blocked in the U.S. for a little while when it first came out.
Because I watched it I watched it the same day that it came out, so I didn't see any. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I think they got cracking on it pretty quick because it wasn't down for very long. But I do remember clicking on it and it said "Friendship's Witchcraft Episode 8, fully matched pony not available in your country," and I was like, that is just awful.
Yeah, I put up a video of it and mine got
question,
blocked too.
if it's blocked in the United States and not blocked in other countries, what does that mean?
That's why I think it's for syndication. Because when they first started pulling stuff down, people were blaming it on trying to sell the rights to China, and I was like, but they're only getting blocked in the U.S. Why would it matter for China? It's probably that they're gonna try to sell it to other U.S. networks like Cartoon Network. And that would be why they'd block it in the U.S.
Cartoon Network is not going to buy MLP, I have a feeling.
They could.
Cartoon Network is not one of those networks that would play that, I don't think.
Well, I don't know. They buy a lot of... They syndicate a lot of shows. Johnny Test is from Nickelodeon. They have a bunch of other shit like that. A lot of Nickelodeon shows and stuff. So, MLP is... They will recognize that it is a cultural phenomenon. I think Cartoon Network is a little bit more in tune with their audience than the Hub is so far.
Oh, Hub.
Because the Hub only has this one show. They just have MLP that has gone beyond its core audience. Whereas the rest of their shows are still very much being watched by the people they expected it to be watched by. Whereas Cartoon Network, they have a history of breakout hits for, they have Adult Swim and stuff, so they have a whole division just for adults. They know that lots of older fans for Adventure Time and Regular Show, which are obviously aimed at teens, and so I think they might be a little bit more aware of the culture surrounding MLP. So they'd probably still broadcast it in the morning. They'd probably still treat it like a kids show, but they might be a little bit, they might think, maybe we'll get bronies and stuff who will want to watch these reruns as well. And it's also the show does incredibly well in its target demographic on the Hub, so they can still, they'll still make money even off the little girls who will watch it,
Yeah.
So I hope they don't start removing it all from YouTube, because I don't have the Hub. Well, we don't really have the channel Hub in England, so I have to go to the internet to find the episodes, which is kind of a downfall, but either way, at least I can watch it in HD.
I'm still to the point where I'm like, oh man, I cannot sit down in front of a TV and everybody be like, hey, what you watching? Oh, just a little bit of My Little Pony.
See, I watch it in the living room on the 72-inch TV that's in there and everything.
Oh, boy.
I mute during the commercials because those commercials are obnoxious as hell.
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine you watching My Little Pony on a 72-inch screen, and I'm dying.
You gotta realize, I bring in, because my little brothers watch the show too, so when a new episode's coming on, and they're usually asleep because it's early as hell, so I literally go running into their rooms, and I wake them up, and I go, Shane, the new My Little Pony's about to start, you gotta come on! And then I go to the other brother, Victor, the new My Little Pony's coming, you gotta come watch it! And then I run out into the living room, and I turn on the TV, and I put it on, full blast, and I sing the opening theme, and, so yeah, it's
you need to tape a morning at your house.
You need to vlog that. You need to vlog that.
Open all your windows, get the surround sound going.
That would be a great idea to start off season 4, just with a video of just me excitedly rushing to the TV and
tripping over something, falling.
It's the opening. If you can imagine the beginning of the song at the gala, where it's chun, 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 and that's the music that's playing as I run through the house, telling everyone this is gonna be the best night ever.
Oh my god, that is
on the sofa, on the sofa, watching cartoons is where I'm going to be. We'll talk all about ponies and magic and friendship.
Can we just listen to him all night?
Man, he's the life of the podcast so far, I think.
Yeah, Digibrony singing, everyone.
Woo!
Yeah. Another
I
thing.
know a few other
realize
show
something.
tunes.
For one podcast, we should all take a episode and dub it. This is what we do.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I've been wanting to do a gender swapped dub for MLP for a long time. I've been practicing the voices as I want them to be male version. But it's just too much effort to try and sync everything and do all the editing and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll keep
Amen.
doing the line over again, and I'll never be satisfied with it,
Yeah. A lot
That's
of
how I
respect
was with
for,
my Pinky voice. I did like 10 recordings.
a lot of respect for the folks over at like Fim Flam Philosophy and people on Friendships Witchcraft, because that is a lot of dedication. I mean, I sat down and was like, all right,
like,
I'm gonna.
The amount of work that FimFlam puts into their videos, I can't believe they get them done as fast as they do. You know, because Petareps draws like over 1,000 images per video. You know, and all the voice acting is great, and the humor is great. It's just like, wow, they put a lot.
They're doing it because they want to be their own animation company.
And it's not really like.
Is that true? Because I haven't heard about that.
I don't.
They're behind
They
the scenes
could be if they wanted to be.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh man, I find it funny because I remember at the beginning, like at the end of every one of the like mentally advanced episodes, it would be like, "Oh, he's working on like a massive Photoshop job for me," and it took him like several months to get the one picture done. And then like you turn around now and he's got like all these pictures he's doing every single day. It's just crazy.
And it's amazing because a lot of the time when people put a lot of work into something and it takes them a long time, it's because they kind of hate that, or it's stressful. Petareps, when I watched the I don't know if any of you saw their behind the scenes for the newest one, but his attitude towards it was just like he had fun. Like he didn't seem like he was bothered or stressed out drawing 1,000+ images. He was just like, oh, I really enjoyed doing this part because this was interesting to draw and I got to use new techniques. I'm like, that's how they get it out so fast, because he's not like angsting about it. He goes into it with like an attitude not of, oh god, I have to draw 1,000 images. It's like, ooh, I get to draw 1,000 images. That's totally why I think he's able to do.
Oh Lord Almighty! If I had to have his job, Connor already seen what I'm like when I'm drawing.
It's like I'd be able to probably get my videos out even faster if it weren't for the I don't really like the editing stage where I have to cut together all the clips from the show and stuff, and that's why I've been like, it's been a while since I put out a video that was just talking about one of the episodes, because it's like, I have to watch the episode like 3 times and then I have to cut it together and do all this, and it's like, I just want to write it, but nobody will read it if I just write it. I have to put it in video. I have to say things, so. So yeah, if I had Petareps' attitude, I'd be putting out a video every day probably.
Yeah,
I'd have their heads on my table.
Okay, Connor, we need to get the next question. We're gonna go so off topic. It's not even funny.
It's brilliant. It's just catching the time up. Okay, the next topic is: do you think there should be like a spin-off episode involving the Princess Luna, like how she became Nightmare Moon, like the build-up towards it? In that way, you know what I mean?
Do you just want us to say whether or not we think there should be, or should we actually go into detail of what we would want from an episode like that?
What we would want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all.
I think we can all agree that it would be great. I don't think any of us is going to complain if they make that episode.
No, I don't want that.
No, that'd be terrible. I hate Nightmare Moon. She's the worst character.
I hate her.
Yeah, it always cracked me up. People gave me a lot of questions like that when I did my Q&A, and they'd be like, hey, do you think this would be a good episode? And I'm like, of course that would be a good episode. All of those are great episodes, but, it's just a question of how would they do it, and I'm not usually imaginative enough to think of how they would actually go about it, I'd rather leave that to the writers.
Probably commit seppuku before I'd have to sit down and write an episode.
Oh, yes.
Because they say about, that Celestia was making a massive shadow and Luna was just stuck in that shadow, and I would like to see the size of the shadow and how she was back then to how she is today.
I think she's about the same. I still don't like her very much.
I think we've established that.
I personally think on the other end of the I think I like how they keep it a little bit ambiguous and a little bit open-ended. They sort of gave you a rerun. What was the episode? It was the one where they were putting on the play showing how the parties to go. Yeah, that's the one. I kind of like how open-ended it was, because there was a lot to be explored, and you could have a lot of fan derivative, maybe if you didn't like exactly what this guy did, you could turn around and read this fan fiction or look at this fan art instead. Yeah. You could be open to a lot of different interpretations rather than just one straight, this is how it's done, which is one of the things I really like about MLP is that a lot of it is open-ended and it offers room for exploration.
Yeah, but my mind wanders too much, and then I just come up with too many different theories, and I end up getting a
That's
headache.
what headcanons are for.
Yep.
Yeah, Heartswarming Eve, that is like the ultimate can of worms episode, because
Oh,
it's
Yeah.
not only because, it's great that it opens up so many possibilities, but it also accidentally or maybe purposefully creates a bunch of contradictions as well, where it's like, there's the number one, because I like to think that maybe the whole history lesson isn't necessarily all true, because first of all, it's talking about something that happened a really long time ago. Our own history we don't understand that well. These guys are talking about something that I'm pretty sure Celestia and Luna have been ruling for 1,000 years, and it supposedly takes place before the rule of Celestia and Luna. This is over 1,000 years ago of history that they're trying to talk about, and there's just weird lines in there that don't seem to match up with what we know now. And then there's a moment where they plant down the flag and they say, we'll call this land Equestria, and it's got Celestia and Luna on the flag, and it's like, if this is before the reign of Celestia and Luna, why are they on the flag? So then you get the impression, that moment more than anything else in the episode makes you think, well, maybe this isn't completely accurate, maybe this is just a play, So on the one hand, you want to think, oh, there's all this interesting history, we can take this into account when we think about the history of Equestria, but at the same time you have to go, well, maybe we shouldn't take all of it into account because some of it's possibly wrong, And I think that is the best way to watch the episode, because it's the way to give yourself the least headaches when you're trying to figure out other stuff,
That's
I
true.
think another part of the can of worms they opened was the whole rivalry between the different pony species thing, even though they're all ponies. It's like, dude, that's not a good thing to do.
Well, I mean, I kind of like the exploration of, like, almost race relations, but sort of, like, handled with kid gloves. I mean, I think it would be nicer if they kind of took a little bit more of a, I kind of want to say darker approach, but I mean, I don't want it to break the demographic that it's going for.
I mean, what was really great about that was that it showed how... What was great about what it added to the history is that it showed how each of them does rely on one another, that none of them would be able to suffice by themselves. Because without the Earth ponies... Because, a lot of people think, oh, the unicorns are overpowered, they can do all kinds of magic and stuff. It's like, yeah, but they can't grow food. Only the Earth ponies can grow food. Only the Pegasi can control the weather, and apparently the unicorns raise and lower the sun and moon, which is still
Do you want a killer carrot to try to eat you? No.
So it really adds balance to the power structure of the three tribes and shows that, without each other they wouldn't survive. And that's true of it's a great real world lesson, because that's why, it's good for human beings to get along with one another, is because we can't survive by ourselves. That's why we formed communities and countries and everything in the first place, is because individually
we are at war with each other.
If I can run off on a little tangent right quick, I just kind of want to elaborate on that and say I saw a guy, I can't remember what the context of this was, but he was talking about how far the human race had expanded, and he held up an arrowhead, like a stone arrowhead from a really long time ago, and a computer mouse, and he was like, these are both objects, size of your palm, solid, and the only difference between them is that no one person in this world knows how to make a computer mouse from scratch, and that's how far the human race has progressed, to where we can make things that we don't even know how to make individually.
That's a good point.
What does he mean by no one person knows how to make an entire computer mouse?
Well, it's sort of people can obviously put it together, but you're not going to be going into nature grabbing I'm going to take this and then smelt this into metal and then, plastic, all the wires and circuitry and...
I mean, it wouldn't be impossible for someone to learn how to do all of that, but...
No, not necessarily, but nobody does.
No. Not a lot of... Yeah, probably not many people have fully formed their own thing like that.
Yeah.
It is interesting to think about.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool way to look at it.
So we use all this technology, but if someone told us to go out there and actually get all the materials to make it, you'd be like,
No.
No matter how much of a computer expert you are, you probably can't actually smelt the iron to make a damn transistor,
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Probably not.
I like to do a lot of computer programming myself, and I still have no idea what I'm looking at when I open a computer. I'm just like, what is this?
My brother does. He built one. He didn't build the hard drive and stuff, but he knew how to put them together.
Right. But even if you know how to put... That's exactly the idea. He knows how to put it together, but he couldn't have built the hard drive. He would not have known what the hell to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I've spent
oh.
a year studying how to build and do that with computers, like become a technician or that. And even now, I don't even know how to. I look at the chips. I'm like, okay, I can put you in, but what the hell is with all of this?
Yeah.
What does this do?
What do you do?
If I twisted you, would you break? Okay, is that? Anyone want to add anything else?
Cobalt,
We actually completely didn't address the actual question, which was a
Yeah, no, we kind of went way off that.
Nope.
getting all philosophical. Oh God,
so-
the femininity is coming through.
We went from Luna to computers.
Computers.
This is amazing. We need to try and stay on topic as much as possible.
Okay, so yeah, I think that would be a nice episode to see. I guess.
I
Yes.
would agree.
You can all agree on that? Okay. Okay, moving on to the next one is... You've all heard of Equestria Girls, right?
yes.
The new-
Unfortunately.
What do you think on it? Do you think it will be a massive hit, or do you think it will just crash and burn?
I think it
It'll
might be
get
a little
flamed.
too early to tell, but from what I've seen, it does not look very promising. That Spike Dog, oh my God, that Spike Dog.
That was...
Yeah.
Oh.
I just...
Yeah, I guess with Equestria Girls, it's like from the very concept. Like, I get what they were probably
Feels
going
like
for. Is they were
standard.
thinking. It seems like they were thinking, oh well, maybe because obviously it's not thinking about us, not us demographic, right? It's the little girl demographic, and they're thinking
Yes.
school shows are popular, well, MLP's popular. We combine them, and I'm almost worried that even if the show is good somehow, like if it turns out it was actually a good show, maybe little girls wouldn't even like it. Maybe they wouldn't care, you know, because maybe they're gonna go, "Fuck, this is not ponies. I don't fuck. What the hell is this shit?" You know.
I don't want this.
I read this brilliant post that somebody made on Reddit once, where he said he was watching the finale with his daughter, and the season 3 finale, and she saw a Twi'lek, and she was like, no, she got like all offended, and she goes and grabs her toy, and she goes, "This is Twilight Sparkle." So she was like mad over the Alicorn thing, you know, and he was like, the guy was, you know, basically saying, well, I guess Hasbro is wrong. Maybe not all little girls want their Alicorn princess, you know, which of course,
Not all girls want to be princesses.
yeah, I mean, of course, I love Alicorn Princess Twilight Sparkle, as I'm sure any of you, if you've watched my videos, you're quite familiar with my like for that concept.
Yeah.
Very
But-
familiar.
But you know, but I still think that was brilliant. That he showed that, you know, little girls don't necessarily want this, you know. And so with Equestria Girls, I really feel like that could be a strong case. Like, I don't, you know, I think one of the things that MLP wanted to fight against was that everyone underestimates little girls and underestimates what they expect from entertainment. You know, MLP is great for that demographic because it is a great girls show, you know? And I feel like if they make a shitty girls show, then little girls might actually recognize it, and they might go, "This isn't MLP. MLP was good. What the fuck is this?" You know?
Do not
I'm
agree.
just like imagining
Feminism
little
at its
girls.
best.
But I don't.
Protest of little
Yeah.
girls.
I don't want to
Sure.
get a bunch of kids going around high school. Go watch Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing I saw first with this whole Equestria Girl thing is I thought it was fan service. They were like, well, they're seeing all this fan art of human ponies. They're like, oh, okay, this will get us money.
No,
I
I don't
don't know.
think
They
Hasbro
really-
has seen like any fan art. I really don't think Hasbro pays attention to the fan base at all.
If anything, they kind of tug away from it, you know? It's more DHX that's on that front, and it's not really...
Hasbro's got to. They're obviously aware of us. They have to be, right? Because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
putting out huge ass conventions
I would
and stuff.
think.
They know we're here. They just don't know what to do. You know, I really. So many people think that Hasbro is either like people will say, "Oh, are they like at ends with Bronies? Are they, you know, do they just what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I just don't think they know how to handle us, you know, because every time that something, because there has been Brony oriented merchandise coming out, almost all of it comes out through other retailers who aren't Hasbro, you know, because Hasbro
Hot Topic,
makes,
we love fine.
yeah, Hot
Hot
Topic.
yes.
yeah.
Hasbro makes those MLP toys, you know, they are a toy company, so all those MLP toys that are aimed at little girls, they actually make those. But this other stuff that's aimed at Bronies, they're not making that. They're hiring other people to make that, you know? So clearly they're saying, we don't know what to do. Let's push it to someone who does. So they give it to We Love Fine, who makes all these... They've got like 200 Brony t-shirts on We Love Fine, you know? Most of them designed by bronies, because We Love Fine looked at the phenomenon, totally understood it, and said, okay, let's bring in artists from the community, get them to design shirts, you know. I'd buy the hell out of those shirts if they weren't so expensive. Yeah, you go to Hot Topic.
Memorabilia.
Like, I was just in Hot Topic the other day because I wanted to. They had an alt cover for issue 4 of the comic, which has like Lyra in a pub in dressed in green, and they're all dancing. It's great, right? I wanted that. So, like, Hot Topic, there is a section for MLP at Hot Topic. It's not just mixed in with all the other culture stuff. It has its own section. They had belts. They had socks, which I almost bought, but they were like $12. It's like a whole set of socks. And I wear girls' socks anyway. I was like, sure, this is great.
We have soft socks, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Kind of close your socks.
I was like,
the funny thing is the Hot Topic here doesn't have anything MLP.
Oh, that sucks. Where are you at?
I'm in the middle of the Arizona desert.
Well, that would probably be why.
They have the, I think they have the earplugs, and that's, I mean, the piercings and the spikes and the plugs, but nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I live in kind of, like, I wouldn't say we're a big city, but Virginia, we're the 31st largest city in the United States, so we're on the map, you know, so, so we definitely have enough, we apparently have a miniature convention here, like like there's some library and they have a mini-con here or something, but, we're on the map enough that there's enough MLP fans, you know. Like, my little brother, he wears MLP shirts and stuff, and he's in high school, and he doesn't even get, like, picked on for it. There's other people who are...
I think the whole brony phenomenon has started to be accepted, and they're just like, whatever.
But it really depends on where you live, you know, and that's another problem I have with bronies, who often will make sweeping statements, like they'll say, oh, everyone's opposed to bronies, or oh, everyone seems to like bronies. It's like, well, it's really about where you live. You know, I live in a city, it's mostly liberal bent, you know, so my brother goes to a high school where it's mostly a bunch of stoner kids who don't give a fuck, you know, so none of them are going to be, like, beating you up for being a brony. The high school that he goes to and that I went to, like, people would brag about being bisexual because it made them fit in with the goth kid kind of group, which was really big at our school. So you can get away with, like, dirty stuff like MLP. It's not that abnormal. Or the people who would make fun of you, you would also have enough people who are backing you up, you know? Whereas if you lived in the middle of nowhere in, like, Kentucky or something, people are going to see an MLP shirt and they're going to beat the shit out of you, you know? So
I love how you picked Kentucky as an example.
You're just gonna get some hate mail now.
Okay, what's the next state to the left of us? Kentucky.
You can tell you're just gonna get some hate mail now from people from Kentucky.
Oh god, I kind of poke fun at Oklahoma a lot, and people from Oklahoma just hate me, and it makes me really sad because I don't really hate people from Oklahoma, but they just kind of assume that I do. I mean, I've Tumblr about that so much.
Raid of Oklahomans.
It's not like they have internet out in Kentucky anyway.
Oh Lord!
Oh,
Dude, people are gonna rain down so much hate.
Well, our high schools over here in Texas are not exactly very liberal based. They're more conservative, stuck-up kids. They're like, "Hey guys, are you voting for Mitt Romney tomorrow?" It's like the election a couple months ago, sir. What? Because they don't want to come to terms with the fact that Mitt Romney lost. Because I mean, these are seriously people in my town. I don't like to take a stance on either side, but it's just hilarious how, like, so butt frustrated that people can get over this kind of stuff. And it's just...
I live in Florida with old people who are very, very conservative.
Yeah, that's pretty much Texas, too.
Yeah,
so yeah, MLP is not...
And
MLP is just not very, like, huge over here, so that's kind of why I feel a little intimidated to go out in public and be like, "Hey guys, you recognize this shirt?" And they'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, I live in Essex, like, everyone who's a brony sort of hides because they're kind of embarrassed, but me, I'm kind of known in my area because I just walk down the street wearing a freaking Applejack onesie.
Hold on.
Like, just ran. When I'm bored, I will just put on an MLP thing and just walk out in the street with it because it's like, yeah, I watch MLP. I don't really give a crap. What are you gonna say?
Yeah,
What can you
and
do?
you know that there's that too. Like in my city, there's probably plenty of closet bronies even here. You know, because not everyone's gonna just be out and about that. But like me and my brother, we are totally in that camp where it's like, I mean, I'm used to looking weird anyway because I've always like worn pajama pants everywhere I go. Like people, I'm used to walking around in Ninja Turtles pajama pants. So throwing a pony shirt on over that is like, it's not even that big a
That
difference.
mismatches. I just get mad at you because it doesn't match.
Oh yeah, I mismatch. I sometimes wear clothing combinations that are as garishly mismatched as humanly possible. So
For someone who likes to pretend he's such a manly man, I really, really have a lot of, like, I worry about my fashion sense all the time. I'm always just like, oh god, does this go with this? Does this go with this? Oh my god. I gotta have the right overshirt? I cannot, oh honey, you cannot wear those shoes.
Oh my god.
see, the thing for me is that like no one ever taught me
Best
how to
ever.
dress right. Like growing up, my parents would tell me, "Oh, your shirt and pants don't match," but they would never explain to me like what would match. They would just tell me I didn't match. So I never really learned what does match, and I just said, "Oh, I don't care." So
I don't
so
want
never
to say it's
learned how to
because I'm a
match.
girl that I like know how to match stuff, but it's more like I'm very extremely overly compulsive about my things matching.
Man,
I
I grew
just
up in
throw
a,
on crap and go about the day.
I kind of grew up in a family with, like, I have 3 older sisters, and, like, they're all within, like, a year of each other, and then there's me right after that, and of course it was always, like, the stereotypical, you get to play dress-up with your sisters, you get to play house with
Oh,
your
dear.
sisters.
I almost envy that though.
Yeah.
'Cause I have 2 little brothers, and we did, because growing up, obviously now I'm extremely in touch with my feminine side, as I've tried to make very clear. But as a kid, we were like
Never noticed.
terrified. You're gonna give me shit about the femininity thing.
I will continue to do that.
I like the word femininity better, okay? It's easy to pronounce, and it was a word at one point. They both meant the same thing. Femininity and femininity were both words that meant the same thing.
Wait, say
But
that
then
again,
for
I
some
didn't hear the
reason,
difference.
the shorter one died out with time. And I don't know why, because it was better. So, just saying. Just throwing that out there. There is a defense for that. And
You will
and
defend it to
just
the
means
end.
something different.
You will start a war.
So if
Yeah, I mean, language is important to me, and I make up a lot of words, and no one really calls me on the words I make up. They just call me on the words that I fuck up. So,
I said guillotine, guillotine once, and I never heard the end of it. Oh my god.
So if,
Oh,
I,
Lord.
if I had my way, I would every day I'd just go outside with a onesie on, but of course my mother would not let me at all.
I wouldn't let
She's
you.
like, throw in some bloody trousers for God's sakes. I'm like, no, I'm more comfy
my
in this.
parents gave up on me a long time ago. They just like, because it used, like growing up, my dad would be embarrassed because he'd go out in public and me and my brothers would be all mismatched and shit. But again, he never taught us how to match correctly. So eventually, he just like reached the point where he looks at us and we're like going to a restaurant or something. He's just like, "Oh,
Whatever.
god damn it!" He's just like really sullen and sad and realizes that he's never gonna look proper in.
Oh god. I think maybe we ought to
What's the
move on
next
to the next
question,
topic
Connor?
of discussion. Yeah.
It's just-
We can move on from our femininity.
doing really well, I think. I'm enjoying myself.
This is becoming better than I first realised.
I feel like we're sitting in a coffee shop.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
The
so
Those really obnoxious people that the people at the table next to you are like, oh god, will they just shut up already?
there's a point where we're
Never.
getting there's a point where
Loud.
we're getting thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing on the topic is what is with the technology in Equestria? Because I've seen arcade machines, but I have not seen an RTV. RTV? Bloody hell.
Was there an arcade machine? What episode was that in?
What? That was in the montage from the one. God, I can never remember the names of the
In Hearts
episodes.
of-
It was Hearts of Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
Sweetie
it
Belle
showed the
song,
kid
that's right.
playing on the it showed the kid playing on the arcade machine when he was like, this one's too young, and then he was like sitting there playing on that little.
Dude,
Now
they had
I
a
remember.
movie theater in One Bad Apple. I just
Oh yeah,
Did they?
Just,
Oh my
like,
goodness.
really-
Oh yeah, they had a movie theater, but that's
hit
still
me
not a
that
TV.
that was a movie theater. Full on.
Yeah, but you don't see any TVs or dishwashers.
Come to think of it, that movie theater it had curtains to the side of the screen. Isn't that like an old school thing? Like old theaters, didn't they have that? Maybe.
Yeah, they did.
So it's like
So-
designed to be an old school movie theater.
Is there technology sort of like Harry Potter where it's sort of advanced but not at all?
Yeah, it's definitely in that weird sort of nexus space where they don't want it to be modern, but they also like it's like like they don't have TVs and stuff. They don't have fridges and microwaves like what should I call you, Big Bro Twilly?
Twilly.
Is that Twilly? Just Twilly?
Yeah,
Twilly?
yeah. People call me Twilly because I don't know. It just stuck somehow.
Because you have two L's instead of one in your name.
Yeah.
I was confused about that for the longest time. I was like,
Yeah, as Twilly said, they don't have all that stuff, but the technology that they do have then also seems to come from like the 70s. You know, like when it's an arcade machine and a theater that looks old, you know. So even when they do bring in technology, they're clearly trying to make it look older so that they can keep up this impression that it's not modern, you know. Even though those things are still anachronisms, but they just don't want it to seem modern, you know.
Well, I guess the whole point is things that are about 20 to 30 years old seem fantastical to children.
Yeah, that too. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
also-
feels
They don't
like-
make things like they
You
used to.
mention a typewriter and they're like, "What?"
Sad.
But yeah, it kind of reminds me. Have any of you seen the show Archer?
Yes.
Archer.
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
I've never actually watched it.
It sounds familiar.
Well, in Archer, it's a cartoon on FX. Definitely an adult show, but
Very adult.
yeah. The if it's actually Friendship is Witchcraft episode 8 basically was an episode of Archer. Like that's usually how they go down, is that it's usually about some character trying to get their way and just kind of crossing this moral event horizon, and and you're just like, wow, I can't believe he did that, you know. But they're the main character, so you still end up supporting them, and they're, you know, cool and charismatic, so you kind of want to like them, but they're also a huge dick. So that's definitely because even before that episode, a lot of people compared Friendship's Witchcraft to shows like Archer and C Lab 2021, which are written by the same people. But anyway, that's off topic.
Oh, we're now worrying about being off
We're
topic.
we're the kings and queens of off topic. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I think we're beyond the point of worrying about going off topic now.
But anyway, in Archer, they tried to create a feeling where you aren't sure what time period it takes in, because it's a spy. It's supposed to be like a 60s style spy show, right? So most of the technology and the designs of buildings and stuff look like they're from the 60s. Like they're using these ancient computers, all the like art and the way people dress. It all looks very 60s, and they're fighting against the Soviet Union. It still exists, which of course was absolved in the 90s. But they also have smartphones. So
Yeah.
the guy who made the show, he said that he didn't want it to take place in like definitively modern day, because it would have to have been like a war on terror kind of thing, and he didn't want that. He wanted to go back to the old days of spy movies, but he thought it would be more entertaining if they had, you know, cell phones and stuff, because that would resonate more with the audience and bring in that modern edge. So the point is that there is no actual time that the show takes place in. It's just grabbing elements from various time periods and just being in this, you know, sort of unique Archer version of the universe.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Archer
So I
Zone.
think MLP, even within the context of Equestria, it is still it's doing that, where it's not trying to be any one time period of our history. It's just being this weird amalgam of Earth things that happen to be in this, you know, planet of Equines.
Yeah.
So many big words.
Really not a whole lot to add on that. You kind of just...
Yeah, but
Kind
That is
of
all.
they all have,
Wave
like,
of information.
they have like all those horse-drawn carriages and all that. It's like normal to them. But also back in Hearts and Hooves Day, one of the songs wasn't the sick pony standing behind an ambulance.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
that-
you're right.
Yes,
He
it
was standing
was.
in front of an ambulance.
Huh.
But that kind of, you know.
Was it a
there's-
horse-drawn?
How would
thing?
they even drive?
I want to see. Hold on, I'm gonna go find a picture of that.
So I don't
Oh,
think
man.
I don't think it was wooden. Well, I don't think it was. I'm trying to remember it by thought here, but
You didn't see the front of it, so it could have been drawn, but still.
yeah, that also brings to the thing. What about their medical technology? Do they have like the same sort of CAT scans that we have today, or do they go
God, I
about?
have no idea. Something
Well,
interesting.
I've noticed that mostly unicorns are the doctors, so I don't know if they'd have to have that.
Yeah. You know, something interesting I actually noticed was a little tidbit in Read It and Weep, which was the episode right before Hearts and Hooves Day. You see that there's that guy who's sitting down. He doesn't have a mane anymore. It's pretty much like he has cancer or something, you know?
Yeah, and then he dies.
And then he, like, the next episode, there's a funeral going on during that, musical number, the Sweetie Belle, and the dude's reading someone's, like, will, or I don't know what he's doing. It's like a priest reading off the podium, and, like,
in front of a coffin and everything.
Yeah, the dude died. I was like, who died?
That's really dark.
Yeah, it's amazing how they slipped that in so under the radar. Like, I didn't notice it at all until somebody, people were pointing it out online, and I was like, oh my god, that's death in Equestria. And it's a funeral just interrupted by Sweetie Belle jumping on the guy's back. It's like, wow, that was fucked up, Sweetie. It's like, seriously.
I know, right? You just come into the funeral and tell the priest he's too old. He's probably going to die soon anyway, so...
It's horrible.
Oh, God. There's also another thing like that. It's not quite as dark, but I remember in episode 3, Applejack says near the beginning, like in the Ticketmaster, she's like, if Big Mac loses his bet, he's going to have to wear one of Granny's girdles. And then in the next episode, you see that he has a back injury. So a lot of people think, like, the girdle was too tight and he hurt himself with it.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that at all. I haven't heard that theory before. That's great.
It was pretty interesting.
So I can't remember who told me, but in one of the episodes involving Applejack, I think it was like the Applejack reunion or something, like, you don't see Applejack's parents, but then someone said there was like 2 shooting stars in the sky representing their, like, this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was in our last podcast.
Was it? Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's probably where I remember it from then.
It was kind of under the radar. I don't know. I think it was left sort of ambiguous in the show canon, but I think in, like, M.A. Larson's headcanon or something, it was like,
That's the thing I don't understand.
M.A.
A lot
Larson
of
did
kids
like that
shows
episode.
address missing parents, but why won't MLP?
Yeah.
It's just 2 kids. Like, it's too young, I guess.
Yeah. You know, I think
Kids aren't.
when it comes to, like, stuff like that, I think it's better if they just leave some stuff unsaid, because, like, with Scootaloo, I mean, just, like, the whole fan base just kind of assumes that she's a disabled orphan, and that's just kind of, like, really fucked up. I mean,
Which
I do agree.
totally, like, I don't get, like, the Scootaloo stuff is weird to me because I feel like everyone just wants there to be some, like, really sad thing in MLP, and they just project all of that onto Scootaloo.
Poor
I mean,
Scootaloo.
personally, I'd be alright, like, either way, like, if it was revealed she didn't have parents, or it was revealed if she couldn't fly, but, like, having both just seems, like, overkill,
Like,
like,
the same
bullshit.
thing,
Just
like,
a
I'm
little.
pretty sure Lauren Faust herself said that she wanted her to be disabled, and it would be an interesting and cool thing to do, to have the character that way, and she would find out and would stop
That'd be
worrying
really
about trying to learn to
depressing.
fly.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I want to see that as an episode,
Like,
honestly. Yeah.
It would be sad, but at the same time, she would figure out that there's something else that she's interested in. Her
I
destiny.
actually bet you that if they do that episode, that's when she finds out her talent. Instead of being able to fly, there's something else.
Yeah.
Because she's
It could be
supposed
more,
to like, sporty, nature. Her name is Scootaloo. I think it's gonna be scooter based. Whatever it is, do with that
Oh,
damn.
yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, they've already made that one clear.
Although it's kind of funny that Apple Bloom is like, she has Apple in her name, but it's shown that she's better with tools than apples, so it's kind of like, it's up in the air, I mean, with the
She
names.
sucks with everything, pretty much, except for, like...
Yeah, how can they have, like, so little talent just in every conceivable aspect of life?
I mean, if you think about it, Apple Bloom's building ability is gonna come like really in handy because that barn gets wrecked like constantly.
Every episode.
I think they have, like, really good insurance or something, because that thing is just crazy.
Their insurance is they rebuild it themselves.
There you go.
I like it's
They get
rebuilt the
family
exact same
together.
way. It looks
Committing
exactly the same every
insurance.
time.
No! No singing. Songs stuck in.
Raise this bond, wait this bond,
This is
one,
hard, 1,
two,
2,
three,
3, 4.
That's my favourite song out of all the songs, I have to say, by the way.
It's so catchy.
Actually, Raise This Bard
Yeah.
of all the.
For some reason, that's just my favourite song.
I like Raise This Barn, but I think I prefer Winter Wrap-Up. Just kind of go played safe with that one.
Oh man, my favorite's At the Gala.
I don't really like At the Gala, to be honest.
Mine's Pinkie Pie's Smile song.
Yeah,
That's a
Smile
nice
Song's
song.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wasn't like At the Gala wasn't my favorite before, but it's the most fun to sing because there's like all the different ponies parts and stuff, and it's got this great rhythm to it. So because I've practiced singing it like countless times, then it became my favorite.
yeah.
Have you sung it
Like
yet?
Smile Song's a fucking nightmare to sing. That is the
Oh
hardest
God, yeah.
song in the show.
No,
I wouldn't
see,
know
the
that.
weird thing is, I think her hardest song to sing is the first one she sang, which is the
Oh, I can do that.
Let the Ghosties, because of that one tangent she goes on.
Oh
You
yeah.
mean-
And laughs and
I
continues
take a
the
hike and
song.
leave you alone. If he thinks he's getting... Oh, shit, I fucked up.
Yep.
That's very... He'll leave you alone. And if he thinks he's scared, then he's got another thing coming in. The very idea of such a thing just makes you want to laugh.
Yeah. I can kind of do like the tangent,
Listen
and then
to
I
that
can do the laugh,
falsetto.
and then I can do the long note. But doing all three of them in conjunction is just fucking like awful. I hate it.
Oh man, I was so proud of myself because I did like a perfect performance of that in a live stream the other day, and that was a lot. I'm allowed to brag. That was a great performance by me, and I was singing for like a straight hour throughout this entire live stream.
Wow.
Oh my god, I have to see this.
I don't know if you want to watch the whole thing. It's like 9 hours long, and I didn't sort it. So like, I played Metal Gear Rising and live streamed the whole game
Oh
for
God.
9 hours.
Wow.
So there's
9
a,
hours?
There's a straight 9-hour video you've like on your channel.
It's not on my channel. It's on Twitch TV because I was streaming it there, and then it keeps your videos. And I was thinking I was gonna cut up the videos and release them on YouTube, but I don't know because it turned out to be 9 hours. I wasn't expecting it to be 9 hours. It's like I
I
don't.
feel so
have
bad.
edit-
The only reason I want to play Metal Gear Revengeance is because the main character's hot. I feel like I'm being. I just want to buy the game.
You
And
get to
just,
see his ass a lot, like not bare, but
I think
like
they did that on
like,
purpose.
he's wearing this like ultra tight outfit, so as you're running around, you're just always looking at his ass, like at all times.
Sounds like
After
Miranda
playing-
on Mass Effect.
Just make
Dude,
it-
after playing,
So Miranda's got like, a much larger ass.
make
Well,
a
they
video
did
about
that with
every ass
what's
shot.
that one game? With the new Devil May Cry, they did that too. There's a
Well, his-
whole scene with him naked.
have any of you, by any chance, played Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days? Because
No, I've
What?
heard it's
that
Yes.
the
game
worst.
is
Yes, I did.
absolutely atrocious. It's terrible. But like for the majority of it, you're running around stark ass naked, and you're like old, fat, wrinkly dudes, and it's just fucking
Ew!
gross.
Oh.
Yeah, that is a funny game. I found that quite
It's just
amusing.
like awful. I hated it so much.
Oh.
Wow, we get so off topic. What's the next question?
Oh yeah.
Oh dear. The next question.
Talking about Biden's ass all day. It's just.
A nice little topic about people's asses. The next topic is: do you think that Celestia's gonna put Discord under Twilight's command?
Oh, that would be interesting.
I would like to see something like that actually. Yeah.
Because now she's
That
a
would make
princess
for
and all
another
that.
good episode.
'Cause now
But
she's a princess.
I have a feeling that Discord's only going to listen to Fluttershy. He still really hates Twilight. I have a feeling.
I don't know. Kind of still
I don't
iffy.
think
on
Discord
where
really
they're gonna go with
hates any of them. I think he's just
Playfully.
free spirited.
that. Yeah.
He's-
He's
Because,
got lots of
he's-
swagger.
He pretty much is, and mind you, I have not watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, but I know that he's
Yeah,
basically
he's
Q,
Q.
and I believe Q
Yeah.
considered Captain Picard to be his only real friend in the universe, even though they were always at ends with one another. And Picard really played the role of Twilight in that show, so I think there's a possibility that Discord will actually find, that because the newer Discord episode I think was poorly done, but the idea of Discord becoming friends with the main six is like really interesting. If
Yeah.
it is if they bring more out of it, obviously they missed an opportunity by presenting it this way where it didn't really resonate. It didn't feel that
didn't really have-
authentic. Didn't have
It
what?
didn't really have time to set itself up. It was kind of like rushed.
Yeah.
It felt like there
Yeah.
wasn't really a whole lot of thought. It
Yeah,
was
like-
kind of like, hey, they're friends.
I really
The
would have
end.
liked to see, like, when I thought about it afterwards, like, how could it have been done really well? I would have loved it if Discord had kept showing up throughout season 3 and, like, actually learning friendship lessons with the main six. Like, maybe he would show up and just kind of do a little, but then he'd, like, see what they did and he'd be like, huh, maybe this friendship thing is interesting. That would have been really cool as, like, a season-long arc or something, But
Yeah, it would've.
it's a missed opportunity. We're never going to get that. But hopefully, in the future, some of that will come out of it, where it'll be like, Discord is still this chaotic being, but he feels something real about, friendship with the other characters. It would be great if they could, if that could happen in season 4.
Yeah, like
I
he
would
makes
just
a
love
bond with
any
everyone.
kind of real tangential, like a season-long arc that actually like works. Because really, the only one we've had, I think, so far, at least the one that I remember, is the one where like they have the gala that kind of spans across season one.
Yeah.
And it shows up a few times, but it's never really fully addressed until like the end. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, it could have been done a lot better. It could have been a lot more hyped, and it could have been a lot more built up. But instead, they kind of skirted around it. I felt anyway.
But there's always going to be this is one of the things that kind of bothers me when a lot of people talk about certain episodes where they say like it could have been better in this and that way. It's like, well, all the episodes could have been better.
Oh.
This is actually something that Dave Polsky said in this interview I was watching with him the other day on Celestia Radio. It's a really great interview. It's long as hell. It's like 2 hours interview with Dave Polsky. But he was saying, he says himself, yeah, Feeling Pinky Keen probably could have been better. Every episode could be better. There's always going to be something that you could have done that would have worked, So in some cases,
I don't know
like
what you're talking about. Wedding at Canterlot was perfect.
Well, see, like with that episode, like I thought I love the Candlelight Wedding episodes, and I think they're great. But at the same time, the first half is a little repetitive, right? Because we have to see Cadence like being a bitch to all of the main six, and you didn't really need to see her be a bitch to everyone. We got it.
I kind of understood the first two times.
Yeah. Like I think they cut it like at least Fluttershy only mentions it in passing. We don't actually see her like being a bitch to Fluttershy, but it was just kind of like that. If they cut out a little bit of that, we could have got a little bit more out of the second half, or something like that. Yeah. So even if the episode is still phenomenal, but even if they just change something,
it could still be better.
Speculate about that all day. We'll, because. I mean, I could do it. I could go through every episode and explain all the ways it could be better, and that might.
Let's not.
But it's not.
We'll be here for days.
To do that, unless it's a case where it would have been really cool with that Discord idea to have a season-long arc, But there's just always be limitations on what they can actually do.
Yeah, I guess the way I should have phrased it was that I would have liked it better if they did the season 1 arc a different way, but I just kind of like. I don't know. I guess I could have phrased it a little better. I didn't mean to say that it was, like, lackluster or anything. I just meant, like, I would have liked to see it have done this way
more
instead.
Polished.
It's just sadly not probable, because they want the episodes to be watchable in any order, because it's, they're thinking shows like this are made for reruns. They're really meant to be played all the time, so, because I'm sure they play, like, I think 2 episodes every day. If you get up early enough in the morning on the hub, like 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, there's always MLP on. So they want to have a ton of episodes that you can watch at any time, because little kids aren't usually able to keep up. I know I didn't as a kid. I didn't keep up with any show ever.
No.
I have not had
I
a
must
single.
be the odd one out then.
Yeah.
If I can level with you here for a second, I absolutely loved Ed, Edd n Eddy when I was a kid, and that really did not have a lot of...
Me too!
I think, strung togetherness. It was a lot more you could watch, whatever episode you wanted, even though there was some loose continuity between them.
Exactly, and they even, like, MLP is rare because it actually has, like, a legitimate first episode, whereas most of those cartoons don't. Like, I'm sure none of us knows what the first episode of Ed, Edd n Eddy is, right? Do any of you know?
I have no idea.
Maybe, but they had so many episodes to Ed, Edd n Eddy that I'm not quite sure.
Like, because when I was a kid, I was fascinated by this because I saw the first episode of Powerpuff Girls is the first one where they introduced, I think, what's the fuzzy dude, the pink fuzzy dude? Did anybody know?
Fuzzy Lumpkins?
Yeah, Fuzzy Lumpkins. The first episode with him is part 1, and then part 2 is the part with, like, the guy who turns into a giant cockroach monster. Neither of these episodes feels like a first episode. It could have just been any episode in the series, because they explain the plot in the intro, and then the episode can just be whatever. So, no matter what episode was your first episode of Powerpuff Girls, it's always the same. So MLP is kind of really rare that it has a first and second episode arc, But I think for the most part, they're trying to not do that. They really want it to be, episodic so that they can have reruns.
Yeah.
And that's why whenever they do a big plot episode, they always play both parts on one day, and they always make a huge deal out of it. They advertise the hell of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can get
The only old kid show I can think of that had continuity, at least somewhat, to me at least, was Billy and Mandy, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, that
there was
had
actually continuity.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but again, it's like really minor, It was just these. It was a lot like MLP. It had just little threads.
Such
like
a dark show, but I loved it.
Yeah, that was a great show. If there's one cartoon that I actually miss, it's Billy and Mandy. That's like the only show that I go, if that was still on TV, I'd still be excited to watch that.
I miss Kid Next Door, Billy and Mandy, Invader Zim, and a few others.
I didn't really got miss Kids Next Door. No.
That has to be my favorite out of all time. When I was
What?
young.
Which one?
Is what?
Kids Next Door.
Oh.
See, I can't watch that as an adult because not because I'm an adult, but the voices are just so obnoxious to me now.
Oh, God. They're so
They're bad.
Constantly, and I really can't handle that. I try to I remember when I was a kid, I loved that it had because that show had a ton of continuity, especially in the later seasons, and it was like that was the first cartoon that was on Cartoon Network that was like that, where it tried to do this like more ambitious story arc and stuff, and that was fascinating. But it also led to the fact that when I missed a bunch of episodes, I had no idea what was going on anymore.
That's one of the main reasons I can't like.
I remember trying to get it in season 4 and just being like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
That's one of the main reasons I can't like really get myself into anime. Is because like it always has like an overlying arc, and I never really have the patience to sit down and say, all right, episode 1, 2, 3, 4. It's more like 1, 5, 2, 3, 6, 8. And then it's just like all over the place. I have no idea who the fuck this is, or what the fuck,
I don't suggest trying to watch Bleach all the way through.
Oh my goodness.
So I am crazy when it comes to anime. At the moment, I'm watching One Piece. I've watched that from episode 1, and I'm all the way up to episode like 400 and something. But the thing is, I watch like 20 episodes a day.
Can I blow your minds real quick?
What?
I've watched over 1,000 anime.
Nice.
Episodes or series?
Series. I mean, not all the way through, but I've watched at least some of over 1,000 anime.
Oh,
I would, but I won't want to say I grew out of them, but I've become so picky with them that I don't give an anime much of a chance unless it really grabs my attention. Like, you said you've watched about 1,000. Have you seen the one Angel Beats?
Yes.
Isn't that show amazing? I loved it.
Yeah, I cried my ass off at the end of that show.
I cried too. I cried a lot.
That had one of the most emotionally just like it just impact emotion episodes.
See, that's the thing. It was 13 episodes long. All of you should watch it because it is one of the best short anime continuity thing. It is amazing, and I miss it. I wish there was more.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that show is that was apparently planned to be like 6 seasons long.
Are you
something.
kidding me?
Yeah, the guy because I mean it's based on a series of novels of which I think there were 2. And the guy who wrote them intended to make it like this really long series, but they just didn't have like the budget for it, and it ended up being really short.
But it was so beautiful.
It was fraught with. It had a lot of like. That's why if you watch it, I know we're just basically talking about Angel Beats now, but if you watch the show, it has like a lot of mood whiplash. Like there'll be an episode that's like all comedy, and then one that's complete drama, and it'll go back and forth between that like instantly because of the fact that they had to cut so much time down that they tried to like force a lot of stories
somehow
into
the whiplash fits with the theme of the show.
Yeah, I mean it works for me, but it bothered a lot of people. That's the main criticism that a lot of people have for that show. But personally, I like and to try and bring this back to MLP, I like that kind of stuff, which is like magical mystery cure. So many people think it's rushed or that it didn't have enough time to like display the emotions or whatever the stuff people say, and I totally love that it's super breakneck and fast and that all this stuff happens and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, that's Angel Beats is kind of like magical mystery cure for 13 episodes. It's just shit happens really fast and
people getting thrown out of windows by axes and getting smashed by giant rolling balls. It's the best show ever.
Just a little interjection on my end, as I have no idea what the fuck we've been talking about for about 20 minutes.
I have to say, with the finale of season 3, I got confused. What was that? What was the spell? What was that spell supposed to do?
Thing is, no one knows. Like, because even the writer M.A. Larson admitted that they had no real plan for what it was originally supposed to do. Like, they didn't write it thinking, oh, this is what Star Sword was going to use it for. They just said, okay, what are some words that basically sound symbolic?
My vision of the spell is it's meant to be a thing where someone can change their cutie mark or change their destiny. If it's something, if they are not satisfied or they like, there's gonna be one day a pony that feels like this is not where I'm meant to be. This is not who I'm meant to be.
Maybe that little pony that got her bowling ball cutie mark could be like, 10 years down the line, she's really fucking old. She's like, I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fun theories. I've a few people wrote some interesting theories that I've linked in a few videos here and there. If any of you contacts me and you want them, I can send those to you. But yeah, I mean, it's all going to be speculation, because there literally is no creative intent behind it. It's just whatever you make of it,
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to say we're gonna have to leave that subject there and go on to the next one.
Right.
How long has it been so far, dude?
1 hour and 5
hour and
minutes.
6 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so.
And for about 2 minutes of that, Cobaltsky7's actually been talking.
Yeah.
I am best
You're
background
so quiet, Cobalt.
Best background pony.
Oh. Okay. So
He's the definition of the peanut gallery.
There you go.
I think he's fine. He's doing good.
This has been great.
He deserves an award. I'll draw you a golden peanut.
As long as
Yes.
you're enjoying yourself, it's all good.
Yeah, I am.
So,
You
Twilly,
can
what's the next
interject.
question?
You can tell us to shut the fuck up.
It's actually pretty interesting just seeing things get ripped apart. It's hilarious.
It just all depends if the audience loves it.
Tension's running high on this episode of whatever the fuck this is.
He doesn't even know anymore.
By the way, Twilly, you've never actually linked me to your channel, I don't think.
Haven't I?
I don't think you have. Or, I mean, I guess you sent me a message on YouTube, but I've lost it because I've gotten like 100 messages since then.
I'll say
So
that
if you could
wasn't-
link me again,
That wasn't my official channel. I just messaged you on a social channel that I used.
then you definitely haven't linked me to your channel before.
That's
that's my-
why you didn't see my message about my other song that I put up.
So that's a link to my channel there. So okay, so the
Because
final topic is I'm bringing back one of the subjects from our last podcast, which wasn't really a subject, just something we speculated upon, was your thoughts on the Cutie Mark Crusaders becoming the next gen of MLP, becoming like the next main six. Like, do you think Hasbro will let that happen, or do you think they'll just like let the episode die with Twilight and her main six?
I don't know. I think I'm going to let Digibrony have this one because I'm sure he's got a lot to say.
No, actually, not really.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all can-
wow,
I'm surprised.
Well, in the last podcast, we saw that there are 3 Cutie Mark Crusaders on this side, and then you have Babs, and she said she had 2 of them.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're like, well,
that's true.
there's 6 ponies right there.
Yeah, that would be
So-
interesting, wouldn't it?
I'd like to see that, honestly. I mean,
I mean,
there's only so far you can go with, like Applejack, for example, is like, she's Southern, she's Southern. That's pretty much her character.
hey!
Shamefully
Watch it.
You go bad mouth at Applejack over here.
I think he's an Applejack lover. Watch it.
That's my waifu.
Oh.
Yeah,
The
I
only
like
to see
one
it
I
a
will
bit.
defend to the end is I actually don't think I'll. Oh no, the only one I'll defend to the end is Zecora. You will fight me over her, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, it could really go either way with continuing the show. Like, it would be interesting because for me, I always vote for as much content as possible is better to me, because even if the show turns to shit, then I don't lose anything for it. Like, even if we run into like a 7th season or something and it's like, okay, this is kind of getting old, but I still have all the old episodes. They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't changed.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, having a 7th season that's mediocre would be better than having no 7th season, right? Having is always better than not
I
having.
mean,
Yes,
it's more
yes, it is.
content. At least you can talk about how shitty it is.
There you go.
Like,
On one hand,
I don't know if any of you have ever seen an anime. Well, I'm sure you haven't seen it, but heard of Ranma 1/2?
Yes.
No.
Oh my god.
Ranma 1/2 ran for 7 seasons for a total of 160 episodes, and I watched all of it, right? And the first 2 seasons were like the first season is phenomenal, but they kept changing directors between seasons, and like the budget would get cut, but it was super popular because the manga was huge. It was just a really big. It was the same person who went on to make Inuyasha, which also became huge afterwards. But with Ranma 1/2, it was like mostly episodic, so the plot lines could be all over the place. So you'd get episodes that were just brilliant, and then ones that suck. And like the 3rd season of Ranma 1/2 is awful, and the 4th season is mostly awful. But then season 5, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of good episodes again. And then season 6 ends on like a really great note. Almost the whole season's great, and then the show finally ends. And so even if MLP ran through a period where it had like a really shitty 4th or 5th season or something, but then there's always the potential it can come back and be great, you know? I think that's something that like there's shows like that right now that are long running. Supernatural, if any of you have ever watched that.
Oh my god, don't get me started.
Like
No, let's not get her started.
like
It's
the
all
first,
about
I'll go on a whole lecture on Supernatural and why I love that show.
I haven't really watched much of it myself, but my brother did, and I watched a bunch of episodes with him, just like generally getting the feel for it. So the first season is kind of boring most of the time. It's just like really generic episode plots, but then it gets really interesting, right? And the 2nd season's great, and the 3rd season's great, the 4th, 5th, because they were all like it was planned to be 5 seasons long. It has this big epic
it's
climax in season 5, and then the guy who wrote it, he finished his part, and he said, "Well, you guys can keep going if you want," and he left the show. So then they make the 6th season, and it's like it was okay. It wasn't going to live up to 5, but
It was mediocre.
Then they released 7, and it's like there's 7, right? The 7th one's the one that sucks, right?
The 9th season has already been confirmed.
Right. So they made season 7, and it sucked, and everyone was like, "Dude, this is going downhill." And it got to a point where they would like have these long hiatuses between episodes and stuff, and it was like clearly going downhill. So what did they do? They got the guy who wrote the original 5 seasons back. So theoretically, the next season could be really awesome because now this guy's writing
The
again.
8th season is amazing.
Oh, so that's already going then.
Yeah, it's almost over. 9th season's confirmed.
So yeah, if 8th season is great, then that's a perfect example of a show that completely tanks in its 6th and 7th season, and then boosh goes right back up because they brought the guy
I think
back.
the best example of a show coming back and being brilliant is probably Doctor Who.
Oh god.
It's taken the world by storm.
Yeah, I'm very new to Doctor Who personally, but I'm on series 2 of the reboot. Like I didn't watch any of the old show. I've just watched the new one.
So I stopped after David Tennant.
I'm in love with this show. I love it so much.
The only show besides MLP I really keep up with is Dexter, and even then, I just fucking totally missed the 6th season.
Yeah, and Dexter does that too, right? Because
like season 4 was awesome, but then season 5 was like, oh.
Yeah, and then 6 is like totally kick ass, right?
Yeah.
I started watching
Well, I mean,
Dexter.
I haven't actually watched 6 yet, but
I started getting bored
Let's
during
watch
the
it.
second season.
My brother told me 6 is like the best season of the whole show yet.
6 is pretty dang good.
He said-
four was
Did
absolutely
anyone watch
awesome.
American Horror Story?
No, I didn't watch that.
Nah.
I watched a little bit of it.
The first season's great, second season tanked for me, but that's because the first season was amazing.
But yeah, I think we've all pretty much sold the point here that a show can go on for a long time and it can
Come
have
back.
lows and highs. And so MLP, if it keeps running for a super long time, it would be interesting if they make big changes to it. If something happens like the main 6 retires and the Cutie Mark Crusaders take over the show, if the show keeps being popular and keeps selling well enough to keep making more seasons, it could totally do something like that. And maybe it'll suck and maybe it won't, but I can actually see it happening, you know?
Anything's better than Equestria Girls.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but they
I'm not going to call it likely that the CMC would take over, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if it happened, and it would be interesting.
but
I
they-
wouldn't say it wouldn't happen.
But they set it up perfectly. They have 6 new ponies. They
Yeah.
have Twilight, who could be their mentor. They could have
Yeah.
Discord, who could help Twilight. And then it's just they have it perfectly set up. They could so go a dive in that direction.
Yeah, they really could. They could if they did it right, they could do a great job with that. I agree. I would not mind
And I
seeing
would
the show
totally
go in that
support it
direction.
because I love
I
Apple
wouldn't
Blue.
mind seeing that at all.
Yeah, I love all the CMC, so that'd be great.
I'm not a fan of Scootaloo, but that's because I think she's a carbon copy of.
Well, I just don't care
Blasphemy.
about Scootaloo, but
You
But
never
I
even
don't,
like
I don't
Scootaloo.
dislike Scootaloo. I just don't care about Scootaloo.
Pretty much anyone who likes Scootaloo is because of something that a fan did, or like they
Exactly.
like one of the fan background
That's-
theories. But really, Scootaloo in the show is just totally
Yeah,
just.
that's what gets me about Scootaloo. I get so many, people are always like, people who like Scootaloo, it's always like, Scootaloo is best pony, Scootaloo has this whole dark backstory, and I'm like, dude, Scootaloo is she's just a tomboy filly who's just there, She's just the boring of the CMC. Like, she got her own episode and it was great, but, like, I don't care still,
She's a lot
I'm
more
not
foiled.
caring.
Apple Bloom
I'll start caring if her storyline continues and if it keeps being interesting. If they actually expand on this whole her with Rainbow Dash thing and it actually turns out to be cool, then yeah, maybe we'll start caring about Scootaloo. But
Yeah.
So what I love about
Yeah.
Sweetie Belle is that she just goes into her sister's like shop and just takes fabric without even asking. She just takes it.
Awesome. I love
Sweetie
Oh,
Belle is just
Pretty-
like, she will be the queen of everything.
Like, she's a good example of how they do femininity well.
Yes.
And I actually do mean that seriously as well.
She definitely feels like a little girl, like an actual little girl.
Yeah. But she's still a good character. She doesn't have to be shitty because she's for little girls. So it's not really mutually exclusive, and that's what I like about her. Is that she kind of shatters.
And she's
that.
not a copy of Rarity. She's her own
Yeah.
Yeah.
personality.
Her interactions with Rarity are brilliant. They're the
Oh,
best
They're sisters.
interactions.
They're
Feel the
hilarious.
love.
Love
Yeah.
it. They really feel like sisters,
Yes, they do.
Okay,
Okay, what was the next question?
that was it. That was the last subject.
Oh, okay.
So now it brings me to the 2 Q&A questions I have for everyone.
Okay.
Don't know why I'm laughing, but the first one is, what pony can you relate to most in MRP? And I'm going to start with Digibrony, just because he's on the right, and I like
Yeah,
right-handed.
he is on a roll today. He is just kicking some serious ass.
Yeah.
I'm always on a roll, man. Well, remember when I said I did a 9-hour stream the other day? I talked constantly through the whole thing.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I literally,
I know.
like, by the end of it, people were, like, still giving me song requests, and I couldn't talk anymore because my throat was, like, completely dried out. Anyway, the pony that I relate to most is Pinkie Pie. Because, she's got this outlook where I have, like, a lot of headcanons about Pinkie Pie, where I kind of think that she has some sort of anxiety issue where, if she's not able to keep herself feeling happy and stuff, then she can just completely crash, as we saw in that one episode.
Party one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Party of One. And, obviously, I don't think that's going to keep happening because she's gotten much better about it. She realized in that episode that her friends are always there for her. So, potentially, she won't really have crashes like that,
I don't know. Didn't
obviously-
they take a step back with that when she freaked out about Rainbow Dash forgetting her when she went to the academy?
That was mostly just Pinkie Pie being dumb in that episode.
Yeah.
Because she didn't get,
What
like,
was in
depressed.
that care package?
She was just, like, big overreacting and stuff. But she didn't go into, like, long hair depressed mode or anything,
Talking to rocks.
Because because I have a history of anxiety problems myself, and I've like completely gotten over it. So I feel like Pinkie in that way, where it's like she saw that rainbow, and then it's like everything's been fine since then. And then she had like one major crash, but everything's been fine since then. So I feel like there's this underlying anxiety, but it's not like something that she deals with on a daily basis. It's just there in the background, So for me, I haven't had any anxiety problems in like a year because I just really have been enjoying life and everything that's going on and my friends and stuff, So that's why I relate to.
10,000 people on the internet are just totally infatuated with you.
Yeah. Which, of course, I feel amazing about that. Even right now, where like because this past week it was funny because, like outside of the internet, I was just like I've been eating really unhealthy lately and stuff, and like sleeping poorly and stuff like that. So like my body was like falling apart, but I was not really depressed about it or anything because it's like I'm too busy being completely loved by the internet, and that's great. So, but I did have to like take a couple days to just get drunk and forget about.
I could go on a whole tangent about how people say the internet can't be your friend, and it's just like, I beg to argue.
I've actually flown out to the Philippines to hang out with a guy who I know from the internet for a whole month. So if anyone can tell you that you can make real friends over the internet, I'm the guy who can tell you that. Yeah. I mean, I never met the guy. I just flew out to hang out with him for a whole month, you know.
Serial killer.
Went to his house and hung out.
That is awesome.
It's luring you over.
Digibrony ends up dead in somebody's basement.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like super worried about it. They're like, dude, you can't just go to the Philippines, which are dangerous, and hang out with some guy, you know, who you never met. But I was like, no, it'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
It's great. But
Digibrony, don't jump off that cliff. Why not?
And with Pinkie Pie, yeah, that's basically why I relate to her. And she's just always so energetic and happy and passionate, and that's me. I'm just super energetic, and you're experiencing it right now, you know.
I'm soaking it all in. I'm trying to.
So anyway,
I'm just still trying to soak in the presence of Digibrony. Okay, so same question for you, Cobalt.
Oh man. Well, I've already said this in one of my Q&As because it got asked like 10 times, mostly by the same person. But in the one I relate to the most is actually Rainbow Dash because I used to be the same way. I try not to be, but in sports I do get really competitive, and I get way too pissed off sometimes when I lose, which I shouldn't. But yeah, that's basically me.
I don't get like Digibrony goes off on like this 20-minute tangent. And you're just like, oh well, I'm Rainbow Dash.
He took it all.
We all get really quiet waiting for him to say something.
I don't think we should have started with Digibrony. He just put the standards way too high.
If you want, I could expand on everyone else's. And like,
No,
I'm like, oh, you're late to Rainbow Dash. Well, I'm glad that you could blah 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 blah, like her flaws, and you know, you're acknowledging your own problems through Rainbow Dash, and
you're not our therapist.
I can be.
Oh, that would be amazing if I could have Digibrony as my therapist.
Can we get a Rorschach test in here? Or?
Okay.
Now do I have to draw an art of Digibrony sitting on one of those chairs, and you're just telling him all your problems?
Yes, he's got a monocle. He's kind
Yeah,
of
go ahead. Draw it. I'll post it on my fan art Tumblr.
Yes, I will.
Okay, same for you, Soundspeed.
Oh yeah, questions. Gotta answer them. Okay. I guess I would sort of say Applejack, but not really late Applejack. I kind of want to say like Philly Applejack because I'm kind of in a place right now where I kind of told you guys about this before Digibrony joined the call, but yeah, I just got evicted from my apartment again. And
Yikes.
Right now I'm pretty much like super nomad. Like I don't really live anywhere, and I'm kind of homeless.
Why do
And
I
it really
feel like half the people I know have just been evicted from their houses? Like, I seriously know 3 people now who are in this exact situation. It's freaking me out a little bit.
It sucks. But, you know, I like with Applejack how it's like, she kind of had that same identity crisis way back in the day. She, like,
Yeah.
for something else. And it's kind of like...
Your sound is
she
massively
got all
breaking up.
Yeah, you're
back
going.
home.
You've just broken up the whole
Some
plan.
sentiments like, you know...
We
losing
can't
his
understand what you're
internet.
saying anymore.
You've gone robot.
You've gone
Hello?
Terminator.
Oh,
You
God, I
back?
can't hear anything. Hello?
Alright,
Oh,
you're working again.
Oh, what happened?
What's going on?
The internet has broken.
Oh dear. Soundspeed.
Did we lose him?
Soundspeed, are you there? Can you hear us?
Come back to us.
I think we've officially lost
He's
him.
typing in the chat.
Oh no,
He
we've
can't
lost
hear
him.
anything.
We've lost him.
Oh shit, I
Hello?
can't hear anything.
Hello?
Okay, you're back.
Okay, awesome. How much of that did you actually get?
No.
Oh.
I kind of like faded back in for 5 seconds for someone to be like, "You sound like a robot," and then I just kind of like
Yeah.
Skype dropped my call.
All we heard was you said you identify with her, like going nomad, having an identity crisis, and then it just whoosh, blanked out from there.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try again. I like the fact that she was able to find her home because that's kind of like my crisis. Is like I never really have a place that I feel like I can call my home because I always fucking move and I'm always getting evicted and kicked around. And so I kind of associate with that similar sort of I want to be somewhere that I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, super emotional, you know.
You're making me sad, dude.
In a way, it's like
I
you
want to
want,
hug you, but
want
you're in
to
Arizona.
identify with modern Applejack, is what you're saying, basically. You currently identify with young Applejack, hoping that you're going to go through the same thing that she went through.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a
Hoping
Sonic Rainboom, though.
Hey, you don't know.
He's hoping for one.
Only one way to find out.
Just look to the skies.
Yeah, keep an eye on the sky.
I'll just look out the window until it happens. Hopefully nothing really,
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, or is that it?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so up to the awkward. That's you.
Yay. Oh, okay. None of mine are the main six. I don't really. I mean, I guess I could identify with all of their personalities, but. And again, I'm sort of like Digibrony with Pinkie Pie, but I don't feel like if I was in the show, I would be her because, unlike her, I cannot always keep a smile on my face. It won't happen. I can't be that hyper and happy all the time. So the person I identify with personally is Cora because of her first episode where she tried to explain whenever I come to some place and try to do something, I feel different. I don't fit in. I am the one element that for even these kind, loving people cannot understand. And instead of trying to, they're afraid. And I've grown up being different all the time. And seeing that and the way it was treated, I thought, oh, they treated this okay. But now you haven't seen her at all, so I can't feel like maybe they're trying to teach kids, hey, it's okay to be different. It's okay to not be exactly the same as everyone else. But again, that's a topic that America doesn't cover a lot because I don't know if it's not they don't care, but they don't know how to handle it without causing a firestorm.
Wow, fuck, you're just trying to show me up?
I'm sorry.
Don't worry, you're still above me, Soundspeed.
Cobalt's just like putting himself down below.
Oh, it's okay,
Don't worry,
Cobalt.
Cobalt. All 10 of the words you've spoken thus far have been amazing.
Really?
Not the one word pony.
11.
Well, Twilly, you still have to answer,
and
too.
then mine starts getting all emotional. You all go quiet, and I feel really awkward.
Oh, do I really have to answer myself?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
dear. I didn't have to do this last time. I think...
It's a good thing we're here to keep you in check then.
Yeah. I think it would have to be Rainbow Dash, because I'm like a thrill seeker. I'll do anything to get my heart pumping, to feel the thrill of anything, really. I'll do anything that's kind of stupid. I think I've explained this to Subtly Awkward before.
You know it.
Of some of the
That's
really...
a good mom story. I keep looking at you like you're an idiot, but it's okay. I still love you. Alright.
Like, the one thing I used to do was, like, my friends would dare me to do something, and I was like, the challenge accepted guy. No matter what they told me to do, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? I think the stupidest thing is they told me to run headfirst into a brick wall with a crash helmet on. It didn't exactly absorb all the damage, but I practically walked out there without any brain damage.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Well, it kind of reflects on a cooking problem I had trying to make toast. I set my cereal box alight, and instead of just putting it out, I picked up a flaming box of fire with my bare hand and just walked to my garden and threw it on the grass.
Set the whole yard on fire.
I mean, that's not the best idea in that situation. I mean...
No.
But what I was amazed about is, even though I was touching pure fire, my hand was not damaged in the slightest. It was hot, it burned a little bit, but my hand is completely fine. There's just no damage on my hand from fire.
Well, I mean, I'd hope you get hurt by picking up a flaming cereal box.
Well, yeah, so that's why I relate to Rainbow Dash.
Okay.
Okay, so second Q&A question is from someone called Classic TV Guy 1, who asks, what tips and tricks do you have for inspiring commentators and reviewers? We're going to start from Subtly this time.
Oh, okay. I'm new here, so I guess my input would probably be good. What I think is, I didn't start doing this until, like, this year, because I've had my YouTube account for, like, 3 years or so. But my suggestion is you do what you love. if you're not going to do something you love, you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to keep up with it. It's the same thing with a job you do or what you go to college for. If you don't love it, then don't do it. Do what you love. Don't listen to the comments and the haters and the whatever. If you love it, it makes you happy and makes other people's happy. That unless you're a serial killer and stuffing people into your closet, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's definitely the core of it right there.
Yeah.
Soundspeed, you
Don't
wanna?
stuff people into a closet. I don't recommend that.
I mean, unless you can get away with it.
There.
Don't say
Yeah.
that. Then you have people gonna try and do it now.
All the Oklahomans.
Someone stuffed me into a locker once.
Oh dear. Okay, Soundspeed, have you got any?
I'm very claustrophobic. That wasn't fun.
Oh, I'm claustrophobic as well. I can't even handle a sleeping bag. That's how claustrophobic I am. Yeah, Soundspeed, you got any input?
So, like, tips and tricks on, like, getting internet famous? Is that what it is, or?
Tips and tricks for aspiring commentators and reviewers.
I think I
Okay.
stole the show by accident.
Well, yeah, expanding on what Subtly Awkward said, yeah, if you're not doing something you enjoy, then nobody else is going to enjoy watching you do it, and it's kind of like, that's a really big fundamental thing, like, find something you like to do, find something you're good at, and do it. Don't be like, I feel obligated to do commentary if you don't feel like you can, because a lot of people are just like, oh,
Yeah.
well, this is popular, so if I do this, then I'll be popular, and it doesn't really work that way unless you, of course, are comfortable with the fact that, you know, if you're good with it, if you're good at it, like, it's basically what I'm saying. And so, you know, just, and another big thing
My off
is that,
voice.
right, can you still hear me? Like, am I coming through?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yes.
coming through fine.
Oh, okay, thank God, because everybody got quiet again, and then I started getting really nervous. Okay,
He's
I thought
getting
everybody was,
paranoid.
like, waiting for me to talk, and I just wasn't doing anything. Alright, I think another big thing is that just keep making videos, because I've had my account for about 1.5 years now, and I cannot tell you how long it took for that initial sort of burst. I sat there, and I was sort of, like, in limbo for a very long time, you know. I stuck at around 40 subscribers, like the big 4-0, for, like, a really long time, and then just, like, you know, people say it doesn't happen overnight, but it really does. You go to
It
bed
does.
one morning, and you wake up, and you're like, holy shit, when did I get 3,000 subscribers?
As soon as Digibrony touched my first song video, suddenly I had 300 views, and I was like, what? What happened? What?
Yeah, that's when I learned about the power of the Digibrony bump, which is something I've always wanted to have.
Oh, yeah.
Now you
Now
have it.
I'm very careful about what videos I actually give the like now, because I want it to, I don't want to like every video. I want to like ones that I specifically want to get more views. So that song that you did, I particularly, I liked that one, you know. Somehow, because, you know, the production values weren't the best and stuff, but
My
somehow,
audience.
even just as a vocal song, it ended up working. You know, your voice and the lyrics worked really well together. The fade-ins and fade-out, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, if I'm being honest, but I liked it. But so I was like, if I can get some people to look at this, you know, maybe somebody will come and help. Maybe somebody will think that, you know, see that it's good, and maybe they'll want to do a collaboration with you, you know, and then you'll be able to expand on what you're able to do. So that's why I like having that ability to bump someone and say, like, hey, everyone, look at this person, and if one of you wants to collaborate with them, you should do that, because that'll help them to, you know, to get even better at their craft.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess, in summary, make sure you're doing something you like to do, make sure you're doing something you're good at, and make sure that you just keep doing it. And if you do all three of those things and you do them right, then you will actually, you know, you'll get those subscribers. You will find that, you know, you'll go to bed one day, you'll wake up next morning, and you'll just be well on your way.
Make sure Digibrony likes and subscribes to you as well.
Yeah.
Cobaltsky,
part of
your
it,
turn, I think.
Yeah,
My turn?
Yeah.
I guess I'm going last, because,
You're gonna
I'll-
blow all of our minds again.
You're
do
not
the
the
big-
only
big
one on your
finish.
list.
well, I will have a long thing to say about this, so you...
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay. Well, there really isn't much more to go on, because if that is all true, you need to do something you like to do and be good at it, and you got to keep going. But also, one thing I learned, to be a little bit more open-minded. I was really closed-minded when I first started, And I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I thought it was just going to crash and burn, and I would have to delete my account and disappear for a few weeks. But I uploaded a few videos, and I literally went to bed, and I woke up the next day, and there was like 400 messages. And I was in shock.
Lucky dog.
And I tried to be a little bit more open-minded, and I just kept going. After I got so many, I just said, well, I'm just going to keep going. And I've had a lot more fun with it than I ever thought I'd have, and I wouldn't take it back for anything.
Anything else?
All right, going to me then.
Yep, here we go.
Oh dear.
All right, so
Brace yourselves, kids.
Everybody get a notebook.
Get some popcorn,
Obviously-
get a drink. You're going to be here for a while.
obviously
I'm
I've
going to go
met
get a
with,
donut. No, like literally, I'm going to get a donut. I'll be back.
All right, so obviously I've met with a lot of success very recently. So I have a lot to say about this. I think, because, I've been doing analysis and things like this for a very long time now. I started writing an anime blog 6 years ago that all my stuff is still on that blog. Like, I still post my videos there and stuff. But, I've been running a blog for 6 years, and it was, obviously never anywhere close to as popular as my videos are now. But I did have a reader base. I did have a point. I was probably, because I was just looking at all you guys' YouTube profiles, and Soundspeed, you have about 3K subs, probably?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably, I wouldn't say I had 3,000 people who were reading my blog regularly. Probably a lot less. Maybe it would have been the equivalent of having 1,000 subs. But it's a lot harder to tell with a blog because you don't have a definitive number just there.
Yeah.
You just have people who keep coming back and reading your stuff. So I probably had at most about 1,000 readers at my height. Hold on. I'm recording a podcast.
Tell her I said hi, okay?
Yeah.
Hello.
We all said hi.
Anyway, so anyway, at my height, I probably had about maybe 1,000 people who were reading me. And I just wrote about anime and stuff, and my principle was always to just write about stuff I care about. Never try to be popular unless it was something that I wanted to do. I had posts that I wrote where I went into the post knowing it was going to be something that would attract a lot more readers, and I would make it so it could attract more readers because I knew what to do that, but only if it was something that was going to interest me. I'm trying to think of a good example. I might cover a show that just came out that's really popular and cover it in a way that I know is going to get attention, but I only did it because I did care about that show. I wouldn't do that for every show. I just did it for the ones that I cared about. So times like that, I might get those additional readers. But as time went on, there was a point in about 2010 where I was really trying to expand and get more people to read me and stuff. And it worked. I got more people, but then, again, I was just I can't do something I'm dispassionate about. I never was able to do the stuff that I knew would make a popular anime blog. I was too busy worried about my own thing, and that's great. And I very much developed my own creative voice, and that's one of the best things you can have, is to have a distinct voice. And when I say that, because a lot of people ask me for advice, and I always say, yeah, have a distinct voice. That's the most important thing. But that's something that you will develop. It's not something that you just have to go, okay, I now have to create a voice, because I think a lot of people try to set out to make a gimmick, but that gimmick it's not a gimmick. It's something that comes out because you are being you. And the more you practice, the more you'll get good at portraying who you are in your writing, And that's always been my specialty, is being myself. But myself kind of sucked 6 years ago. I was a 15-year-old who didn't care about grammar and wrote really. You don't want to read my old stuff. It's really bad. I only really endorse my last 2 years or so of writing. Anything before that, I'm hit or miss. But I will endorse my last 2 years. But as time went on, it was just I'm not trying to hit it big. So my blog went through a period where there weren't a lot of people reading it, especially last year when I switched to talking about MLP, because I didn't really care about anime. I wasn't watching it. I was mostly watching MLP and talking about MLP, and none of my readers were watching it. So I lost everyone, or people who like me, who like my site, they might read the post, but they have nothing to say to it because they don't watch the show, So I did keep on just doing what I like, and regardless of whether anybody was going to read it, and I just kept getting better at it, you know, so I wasn't concerned with the popularity. And when I launched MLP as a video series, there is, you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't trying to make it for people to enjoy. You know, I do things, because I was doing this already in text, and no one was reading it. I was doing the same exact thing. Some of my videos are straight-up adaptations of posts that I wrote months ago, and no one was reading those posts because the MLP community doesn't pay attention to text. They only pay attention to sound and video. And this is just, like, almost universally true, you know? The only site that has, like, popular text posts is the Rounds Stable. And even then, not everyone, you know, it's not that visible.
Yeah.
Or
So-
Equestria Daily, but that's because
Yeah, but they don't really do analysis or anything, though. They're just kind of, you know... They're just like a...
update news.
Yeah. Yeah, news. I mean, because everyone wants news, but I mean, like, personal opinion stuff, no one really reads it. There's, like, because even people who do, like, really bad... Because some of these YouTube reviewers are just not very good. I've seen ones that are, like, you could... If they were doing it in text, it would be better, because I wouldn't have to listen to their, like, awful audio with loud humming in the background and stuff, you know. I don't like that. I'm not going to watch people... I don't care if your opinion is great, you know, if you don't script it, and you just ramble, and you've got a shitty headset mic with a loud computer in the background, and I can't hear your voice correctly, then just put it in text, you know? Like, it doesn't need to be a video.
Hey,
So,
if I could interject here right quick, I just wanted to say, like, that same thing applies to a lot more than just sort of, like, opinion pieces in review. Because if
Yeah.
you think in the realm of Let's Play, like, there are so many awful, like, camcorder pushed up against
Yeah.
television, tripod-mounted, like... And it doesn't matter how amazingly fantastic your commentary is, it does not make up for the
Right.
fact that you have a low-quality video.
exactly. And, yeah, quality speaks for a lot. And... But the funny thing about it is that even people with these super low quality reviews, they still sometimes get more attention than a text review that's amazing, because no one in the community reads text reviews, you know. Video just... That's why everyone rushes to do videos, because they think, you know, that's what they've... Oh, sorry. That's what they've seen. Like, you know, my videos, I've gotten a lot of messages where people say, "You've inspired me to do commentary. What should I do?" And I always say, well, you get a good sound system, or you do text reviews, you know, like, 'cause, you know, just because I know they're gonna eventually send me their stuff, and I'm not gonna want to watch it if it's, you know, if it's awful sound quality. But anyway, shit, I lost my train of thought. So right. No one was reading my text reviews of MLP, but it wasn't just that I wanted people to see them, it was also that I thought if I could show, because it's a visual medium, the show has amazing animation, and I wanted that to be present in my reviews, you know? I can't really write why this facial expression looks good. I'd rather just put it in a video and you see for yourself. You understand, oh, this episode has great animation in it, you know? So that was why I wanted it to be in video form, and it just took off like nobody's business, you know. It was like crazy. It wasn't like you said, it kind of is overnight, where it was a slow burn for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden it was like all these freaking people. Yesterday I had 700 subs yesterday. That's ridiculous.
In one day?
I'm averaging like 500 a day, you know.
Holy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't been doing this very long. I started making videos in late November, and I'm already at 17,000. I've already left Paleo in the dust and stuff. He was like the biggest video reviewer I know of.
Oh yeah, Paleo is huge, and then you just kind of like...
And it's so...
Perth passed him.
People are asking me for advice, and I think a lot of people who are asking me for advice don't know that I haven't been around that long. Like, because a lot of people say, "Oh, how come I've never heard of you?" It's like, because I just started, you know? No one knows why I'm getting so many subs so fast. Like, it's really confusing even to me. So I don't completely understand it yet, and it's weird to me because no one's really noticed who hasn't subbed to me. Like, Equestria Daily hasn't noticed. Because it seems like all the big name bronies, they all know each other, right? Like, they all seem to like, they see someone coming up and they all start becoming friends. I haven't talked to anyone yet. None of them have contacted me. Nobody's really noticed that there's some guy getting suddenly crazy amounts of subs, except like Paleo, and I still haven't talked to him either, but he's aware of what's happening, and he's like, "What the fuck did you do?" And I'm like, I don't...
It's just our little community of bronies and one girl. Hello.
But yeah, like, it's strange, and I don't really know why it's happening, but, you know, I do know that there's the reason, because what's great about it and this is going to be me bragging a little bit here, which I don't know. I guess I deserve to because I've got this success. But I think that what's great about it is that it proves that the quality of my videos is what made them popular. You know, it wasn't about me getting promoted by somebody else or by some website. It was just that the videos are really good, you know? And they're really good because I set out to, I took into consideration all the things that I don't like about other people's videos and all the things that I do like about other people's videos. And I put those in mine. And that's the best advice I can give to people is that you like, some people think, oh, you have to be completely original. Don't rip people off. No, rip people off if they're good. Rip off all the best qualities of all your favorite
everything.
Stuff. Like, I pretty much worship Ego Raptor's Sequelitis videos. If you guys have seen them, Sequelitis.
I love Ego Raptor.
Those are the best videos I've ever seen. Right on all of YouTube, I've watched them countless times. I wish I was that good because he animates stuff, he has comedy, and he does it perfectly. And if I could be that good, I would. But I'm just like, I have a short attention span. I don't like work because he only puts out like one video every 6 months. I don't want to be that. I want to put out a video like every other day, you know? So, but I took ideas from that, and I took, what do I not like about Sequelitis? It has black backgrounds most of the time, right? I don't like that in videos. I like there to be a single color background so that it doesn't create like visual confusion or anything. Like, you know, have you guys seen A and Y Pony's videos?
I don't recall.
Don't think so.
Don't think so.
Even Paleo's would be, I guess, a good example because I think he has black bars on the side of his screen, right?
Yeah.
Like his pony will appear in like the blank space next to the episode, and I don't really like that. I don't like the idea that things are popping in and out of a black background. I like there to be. That's why I made the single color background on my videos. So you know, that was something I did out of a conscious decision based on something I didn't like about other people's videos. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a black background. Clearly, Sequelitis did it, and it's the most popular video ever. But, you know, I put in that consideration. I chose a font that I like. I chose to, you know, I don't like when I hear people who have bad audio, so I bought a nice microphone. I write out my stuff extensively. I edit it. I trim. You know, I cut out all the breaths. You guys listen to me talk right now. You hear that I'm stuttering and repeating words. None of that's in my videos. You know, so.
Well, there is that whole femininity thing, but I think we pretty much established.
He's never gonna let it go.
I'm not, though. I'm really not.
Like, if you read the text version of that post, it says femininity. It's like I thought that was a word when I was writing that post. So. That's not just me screwing up. That's me honestly believing that femininity is a thing.
But yeah, I agree with you on the black background thing. Like, I like your videos because it feels symmetrical. Because when you have a black background for anything you do, it feels like a vacuum is trying to suck in everything you have on it.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a void, and I don't like that. I want it to feel like you're in a place, you know?
Overwhelming void. Unless you're doing a horror or something, it just doesn't feel right.
And another good piece of advice is there something you're not good at? Find someone who is and get them to help. Like, because obviously I can't draw. So I went through a bunch of design changes really in like a short period of time. And when I said, because people were like, why don't you do a pony for your OC? And I said, I can't draw. So if you want to draw me a pony for my OC, go ahead. And somebody did. And I was like, great. And then my background, originally I had this like glaring purple ass background. And people were like, dude, that's horrible. I said, well, what's a good color? And they said, pick a, what's the word?
Pastel.
No. Neutral color. Someone said pick a neutral color, and I was like, I don't know any neutral colors. So I just Googled neutral color and got a neutral color palette and just stuck one up there, and then now everybody likes the color background, you know? So, yeah, if you don't have a good design sense, which I have no design sense whatsoever, I leave as much of that up to other people as possible, you know? And, you know, that stuff helps. So... yeah, so I guess my best advice is, you know, make sure your presentation, the best way to judge if your presentation is good is whether or not it's something you would accept from someone else. You know, if you would click on a video and you would hear the sound quality and you'd go, oh, I'm not going to watch this, don't make your video then have that level of sound quality, you know. Stick to a medium that you understand and do it in a way that that you yourself would appreciate. And take advice from other people and stuff like that.
Like, here's an example. I started watching a YouTuber, and at first he really annoyed me because he was loud. Now, he was a horror video game commentator, and it took me a while to get used to him because he felt annoying. However, as soon as I started really listening to him, he has one of the most amazing voices you can ever get. He has a radio announcer voice, like literally. And I fell in love with his voice, and I couldn't stop watching his videos simply for his voice. And his videos get more and more amazing because he got better at it.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. I hate to be a killjoy here, but I've got some people on the phone that need to talk to me about the house that I no longer live in, so I think it would be awesome if we could, like, get around to wrapping it up.
Yeah, I think we're all done, right? So
yeah, we're all
it's
done.
also an hour and 50 minutes, so that might be a good time.
Yeah.
I swear you talked like for half an hour during
I think
during
you
the
did.
Q&A. Oh, now I wonder why your Q&A episodes are always 2 hour long.
Yeah, he's got like 15 Q&A episodes. They're all like an hour and a half.
I could probably talk that long, but it would just be me talking about random things.
Okay, well, this has been Monday Night Podcast, and thank you for my lovely guests. And goodbye, every pony. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye!
Yeah.
Bye!